Hi, this is Monica from Run, Eat, Repeat, and today I'm talking about something that is not running or eating related. So if that's why you come here, we can hang out and talk about those things tomorrow. But today is kind of like a girl talk situation, so you've been warned. And I actually didn't really prepare for this video. I just kind of wanted to share what's going on, and I don't know how the seed originally got planted in my head. I think it's been a couple of different things where I was at a blog event a couple months ago and was talking to someone there, and I don't know how it came up, but she mentioned that she was looking into freezing her eggs, basically fertility preservation. And I am very curious by nature, and I ask a lot of questions, and I was just very interested in this, and I thought, what is this all about? I don't know anyone personally that's done this, but I'd like some more information. So, I would like to think respectful about it, and she was comfortable talking about it, but I asked questions, not knowing anything really about it. It wasn't like they were informed questions. And then there has been things on the news lately with, I think, Facebook and Apple or Google, someone else cool, that has started to cover, at least health insurance is covering if women want to have their eggs frozen for fertility preservation purposes. And so I guess just like a combination of these things has been cooking in my head movies. And I decided to look into it for myself. I was in a similar situation as the girl I had been talking to. In my early 30s. I am not in a position right now where I am trying to have a baby, and just kind of curious if this is appropriate for me. So, really, more than anything, what I'm trying to say is I am looking into egg freezing. And this is all very initial, it's all very fact finding. But I wanted to share for a couple of reasons. First of all, when I started to do research, and again, this is pretty recent, I didn't find a lot of, resources that were someone sharing their story and their process of it. And I think that's kind of what I'm used to because of blogging, where I started Run It Repeat because I wanted to train for a marathon, and I was documenting my marathon. And you follow along with these blogs of different people doing fitness competitions, documenting their pregnancy. It's like we share our journey, and there hasn't been a lot like that I actually found. So I was like, if I were to do this, would want to share. So that's one thing that I'm just sharing this information. And two, because if I do end up doing this, I don't want it to make it seem like I just was like, hey, I'm going to do this. I think that it is a lot to think about. It's, a lot physically and emotionally and financially. There are a lot of things that factor into something like this. So this is all initial planning. I'm just looking into it. I don't know what I'm going to do. I just wanted to kind of have an open conversation on some level, and also kind of connect with people if there are people curious about it or people that have done it. It's also hard to find someone that has done it, or I guess more than one someone, a lot of people that have done it, and say this was totally worth it or it was not worth it, because you're using it in a year or two potentially, or however long down the road, and you don't know until then if it's worth it, because you can go through the whole egg freezing process and then not have to, knock on wood, not have to even use it. And there are costs associated with that if you end up doing that. So what ended up happening, my little story in a nutshell, is I was doing research online, and I am very lucky to live in Orange County, and there are a lot of places here that do IVF and these kind of services, egg freezing, all of that stuff for people. So there are options. And I ended up, because I was curious, scheduling an appointment for a consultation. I wanted to know, how much it costs and what the process is and what the realities are. And they can't give you any guarantee, but I just wanted to kind of meet in person and fill out if I thought this was something that is ultimately a good idea. And I wanted to know more about the process. So I went to a local place last week just for an initial consultation. And they walked me through kind of what the actual process would be to do it. I would, take different medications and I would have to give myself shots and all of that. I wouldn't be able to run for a month. It would cost about $10,000. Your eggs have to pay rent. It's about $500 like a year for them to keep them somewhere. And then there's all this other stuff. I didn't even look into like if you wanted to knock on your egg's door and be like, "What's up? It's go time." I didn't look at that yet. But this was just like the initial things. And I'm just processing it right now, really. Look at this guy. I'm just processing it. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I wanted to share because it is a really big deal, and it's something that is kind of, I don't want to say lonely, but it's definitely, you want to talk to other people and kind of get their opinion. And then at the same time though, there's no guarantees. You can do this whole process and it not end up working, or you can do the whole process and not have to use it after all. And you also have to factor in your personal, like, physical situation and timeline for life. And there's a lot that goes into it that I want to think about. My mom had a baby in her 40s. My little brother is in high school. And I am fairly healthy. And actually, at the consultation, they did a ultrasound and looked at my follicles. And the follicles look like there are a good number of them. So I'm kind of trying to just like figure out, I really should like pray about it and think about what I want to do. And that is just where I am right now. But I wanted to share because, like I said, I want to be transparent on some level with all of this. And I don't really have, normally I'm like, if you have any questions, let me know. If you have any questions, I don't have any answers. But I guess this is like, also I feel a big part of the process is getting to a point where you actually decide to do this. I almost think this is like the harder part of the process. And there's also that whole financial aspect of it that is a really big deal, like $10,000. At the same time, I was kind of thinking about this, and not that I have $10,000 for this, but I mean, there are ways you can not get a loan, but there's like care credit. There's different ways that you can pay it off. And people do that kind of stuff for like boob jobs and plastic surgery, or like different stuff that's not necessarily like medically needed. So if someone's going to get like a boob job for something and you know, like pay it off over the course of however long, like I feel like I don't want to rule it out just because of money. I might look at all the factors and say, you know what, I don't think this is for me, or at least I don't think this is for me right now. But I didn't want to go into it with, it's way too expensive, I'm not going to do it. I wanted to kind of check it out and really think about it. And like I said, I really should like pray about it and just like assess how I feel in the big picture. I really need to be at peace with it. So it really doesn't matter what like anyone else says. People like my friends, my family, strangers, all of the above. Because yeah, I know too, my personal doctor, I kind of mentioned it to her and she was like, I think it's a really good idea. I think it's great that women do this. And then I mentioned it to a doctor friend of mine and he was like, I think it's great that women can do that. And it was like, they were both like, I think this is great. I think this is great. And I think that was another reason why I was like, I'm going to look into it. But ultimately, I need to figure out what I need / want / should do. And now I feel like I'm rambling because I don't really have any answers. I just have questions and they're all for myself. But this is part of the process and I wanted to share it with you that I'm considering freezing my eggs and I am not leaning one way or the other at all right now. I would almost say I'm kind of leaning no because I haven't done enough research. The consultation it happened a lot faster than I expected. I like filled out a thing, like I wanted more info. And then someone from the office called me and I had a ton of questions and she was like, you should come in. And it was really informative because I was able to meet with the nurse practitioner that gave me every step And I am more like a learner where if you're telling me and I'm be able to ask questions, like it was easier for me to kind of take it in versus just reading the process online. So that's where we are right now. Vegas is right here right now. So I will keep you posted if I make any decision. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon, but I'm just throwing it out there into the universe, and there's like a hair on me. So if you have questions, I don't have answers. If you have answers, I mean, send them over. But yeah, thanks for watching.